Hello, creative media students and digital photographers. Mr. Ballantyne here, talking to you today about legislation and photography. All you need to know, 5 things in fact, you need to know about the law, legislation when you are planning a photo shoot. Um, there's 5 things that you do need to know. They are as follows. First thing is first, who it is that you're asking to be in your photo shoot. This is known as like a model release form. A model release form is a permission form that is signed by each person or model that is recognizable in the photos. This is needed whenever you've got people in your photos. What it does is it gives the photographer the right to use the image of that person for any commercial reasons. So publish it in a magazine, put it on a website, use it in a promotional video, that sort of thing. However, any person that's under 18 has to have that permission granted for them by their parent or guardian. So that's like when you come to school, when you start at year 7, when you start, your parents will sign a form that says they're happy or not happy for you to have photos taken for you for use by the school on things like our website. Secondly, property release. So when you're taking photos in a building or in a street, or you need to make sure that you've got the right permission to do that. You might think you can take a picture anywhere. I mean, pretty much you can, but there are some places where you definitely can't. So you're not allowed to, for example, take photos in a train station or a shopping mall or an airport without permission. So if you're in a private building, you need to have, or private property, you need to have permission from the owner and tell them what you're going to be using your photos for. You can take a picture of sort of anyone on the street, I guess, as long as you're not harassing them and as long as they're not sat in their front garden and you're taking a picture of them while they're sunbathing or something like that. That would be an infringement of privacy. So you've just got to bear that in mind. Thirdly, when you're doing any photo shoot, you've got to consider health and safety. So you've got to think about whether the person you're taking the photo of is going to be comfortable, whether they're going to be safe, is it going to be cold, is it going to be wet, are you going to get the camera equipment damaged if it's wet? So just look after yourself and look after the person as well with regards to health and safety. Next up, I talked a little bit about privacy. So this is really if you're sort of walking down the street, taking a picture of people, street photography, that sort of thing. Just make sure you couldn't be sort of seen to be harassing someone, and think about where the photos might be being published. If someone's just walking down the street and you're taking pictures of them and then they see their photos on the news that night and you haven't asked them permission, then that could be seen as something that would be intruding on their privacy. Finally, copyright and trademarks. You've got to take into consideration whether your photos show anything that's protected by copyright or a trademark. For example, if you're taking a picture of artwork or you're taking a picture of like brands in the background, or pictures of brands, and then you're using them on a website for commercial gain, that could be a breach of copyright and you could find yourself in trouble for that. So that's 5 things. Model releases, that's people's permission. Property releases, where you can take photos from. Health and safety, privacy, and copyright. Those are 5 things you've got to take into account. So here's Your task then, what I'd like you to do, you can rewind this video, write down those 5 issues, and then write a short report thinking about the light, shape, and angles assignment that you're going to do, thinking about where you're going to take the photos. If you're taking photos of people, who might you need permissions from? If you're taking it in your own garden, do you need a property release form? Will your parents quite happily to take it there? I mean, obviously they're going to probably, but just writing down the fact that you understand what a property release and property permissions is would be a good thing to do. Are there any copyright issues? Are you taking pictures of any brands? Again, it's not necessarily, you might not be breaking any of these laws, but you've got to demonstrate an understanding of them. Are there any health and safety risks where you're going to be taking your photos? Jot those down. Okay, so go back over the video, write down the 5 areas that I've covered, and then relate them to what you are planning to do for your light, shape, and angles assignment.